Hello and welcome to the FinTech Finance Virtual Arena. I'm your host, Doug Mackenzie, and on today's session, we're going to be talking about digital transformation over in Russia and also VTB's electronic signature service, which is going to be rolled out to enable their business customers to really get through the pandemic in new ways never before seen. And joining me today, I actually have Sergey Bezbogov from VTB Bank. Sergey, thank you so much for joining us here today. I hope you're well. Could you tell our audience a bit about yourself and VTB, please?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sergey. How are you doing?
Yes, perfectly well. Thank you very much. Yes, a couple of words of VTB. VTB is the second largest banking group in Russia. And VTB presents not only in Russia, but also have a presence in surrounding countries. And we have also presence in Asia and Europe. And to be perfectly honest, VTB initially was mostly investment bank. And this investment banker's culture is still here with us. However, during the previous years, it was a number of acquisitions made, and currently the bank is the 100% universal bank with a very, very strong historically investment bank branch, also small and medium enterprises branch, and we have a lot of services for private individuals. A couple of words about myself. I've joined VTB 2 years ago, and it was specifically the starting point of implementation or realization of new strategy of the bank. And this strategy was specifically devoted to speed up digital transformation in the bank and to do a lot of within IT. And the team which was joined the bank during 2019 was aimed and actually was we have the target to speed up this process. I am leading department now, which honestly coordinates and even I would say drives digital transformations in VTB.
That's incredible. I'm so happy to have you on the show because we're really excited to hear about digital transformation through your guys' lens and hear what your perspectives on the element of digital transformation. Now, with that in mind, I'm really interested to see how successful have digital transformation strategies been in the finance industry over the past 5 years from your perspective at VTB.
You mean actually a couple of words about Russian market, and then we will go to VTB. In fact, digitization and distant channels are very popular for quite a long time in Russia, and customers are already, I would say, don't like to go to offices for many years. I wouldn't say it's 100%. However, currently I would say that 50% of the whole number of deals between the private individuals and the banks are being done remotely. That means that the general competition between banks is specifically how efficient and effective their processes are, how convenient, user-friendly their applications, how many products are really available in their mobile apps, how I would say reliable these apps are, because it's also very important. And in fact, this competition became stronger and stronger, and currently we have extremely high struggle trying to get customers, because customers already have 1-2 banks of the first choice for them, and other banks trying to get this to become a third bank of choice, or even higher.
Yeah.
So, and in this situation, I would say, as VTB previously was more investment bank, so probably it wasn't so much attention paid to retail customer and private individuals and the micro and small business. So we were forced to speed up our transformation and to implement all these features and all these applications and improve, I would say, not only I wouldn't say that it was nothing in VTB, however, to improve quality, to improve convenience, to improve user experience very, very quickly. Yeah. Moreover, as it was a number of acquisitions during the previous years, that means that we honestly, in our IT architecture, have a real zoo of the systems, which belongs to different banks which were acquired and actually even not only acquired but also joined into the bank. We integrated them, and it's just VTB currently is a big bank, and with all these banks incorporated in. So it's a big challenge for us to ensure that all layers of our IT architecture will move and will change in parallel, starting with our data centers until how I said, our mobile apps and everything which is related to end customers. Yeah. So this is probably the background of our digital transformation, and probably a bit of I would say a few words about our complex situation.
Yeah, well, I think, yeah, you're completely right. It is such a complex situation. The whole dynamic of having everyone already having their first 2 banks, and suddenly to appear as successful, you have to be that customer's 3rd or 4th bank. It's a very difficult market, and it's very interesting to hear that. Now, with that in mind, have you seen an increasing regulatory framework for banks to work with when it comes to innovating in finance in Russia? In a similar way we've seen in Europe, over in Western Europe, we've seen the Payment Service Directive 2. Has there been a similar move from the Russian regulators too, to encourage innovation in finance?
You know, to be perfectly honest, banks doesn't require this push from government bodies and from regulator, because it's just the competitive environment, I would say, push banks towards implementing innovations as soon as possible, and this is really our challenge to compete with each other, and we're competing with technologies. I would say not specifically banking and finance services, but we're competing with technologies. One of our CEOs of the bank said that bank it's not more a finance company, it's currently technological company with a banking license. So this is more or less all of us here is really I do agree with that statement.
Yeah.
And we're currently playing this game.
Interesting. Yeah, it's excellent to hear that the Russian environment is that innovative. You know, it doesn't need to wait for instance, we've heard many French banks, even though the regulators are forcing them to open up and innovate, a lot of the French banks are still being very traditional and are not doing that. But it's very exciting to hear that VTB is innovating because you see yourselves as a tech company with a financial wing to it rather than the other way around. Now, one crucial step in the digital transformation process is digitizing documents in a secure way. Now, can you tell me a bit more about your work when it comes to e-signatures and what that means for your business and corporate clients, customer experience
Mhm. Yeah, you're absolutely right that paperless business is something which is everybody would like to follow. And here I would say that especially the latest couple of years, I mean, starting the pandemic situation, it was even more important because we wouldn't like to meet face to face as it was previously, at least so often, and we would like to make as much as possible remotely. And in this particular case, the regulatory bodies and government bodies are very important because at the end of the day, particularly them, for them it's even a special case to move forward also legislation and other acts to ensure that this electronic document turnover will be legalized. This is probably the main point, because two things. One thing that currently a lot of stuff is being done through mobile apps, yeah. But sometimes to make it happen, not all the necessary procedures are done, and that means that the risk of this particular operation or this particular transaction is on finance company, on the bank. Yeah. If something happened, sometimes it's quite difficult to go to court and to prove that this particular transfer was done, and that was done by this particular person. So it's one thing. Another thing that yes, so electronic signature is something which is for quite a long time available on the market. However, the user experience is not yet perfect. What I mean, in fact, to get this electronic signature, to get a token with electronic signature, you are to go to the special electronic signature verification center to get it, to register yourself, to register your electronic signature, and only after that you are able to use this signature. Not many people are ready to go for it, and most of them prefer to avoid this and just to sign agreements in paper from time to time, because it's not so often significant documents are to be signed for, I mean, some contracts like mortgage or like other big contracts of big value.
You want to do them in person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But another side of this process is that to do all this stuff remotely, you ought to be very accurately identified. I mean, you as a person or me as a person. If, for example, I would like to make some transaction or to make some deal, my bank would like, or my counterpart, and for example, business partner, would like to clearly identify that first, me is me, and the second, I have a power to sign this agreement, which is going to be signed. Yeah, so this is two things which are to be done. And this verification and identification and authentication is something which is really quite a task for all of us to implement. And one of the options is biometric samples and biometric identification, which is quite accurate. However, again, to be identified by biometric samples, you have to somehow present these samples in a secured way. Yeah, and again, so you are first to be identified, then you present samples, etc. So, and currently, we're all of us together with government bodies, we're busy with the understanding how it might be done in a way that first person is identified and person has confirmed power.
Incredible. Now, I think that's so important, especially when dealing with financial documents. They have to be secure, and you have to have that kind of bedrock of security. Now, I'm really interested to hear how small to medium-sized businesses, maybe on the retail side as well, your retail customers, how that fared during the pandemic over in Russia, and can I ask how the banks like VTB helped out those businesses and those people during quite a very difficult time?
Yeah, absolutely right. So for this pandemic situation affected specifically on the micro and small businesses, and it was, in fact, I would say that government made a lot to support these businesses, and in fact, it was a number of special government programs. First, to it was special interest rates which was subsidized by government, and VTB participated in this program and actually issued a lot of loans. I would say both for business, and also it was a special type of loans to support salary payments for employees.
Yeah.
It was extremely important just because sometimes businesses were just closed because of this pandemic situation. They were not able to work at all for some period of time. The second thing, it's for loans, for existing loans, it was a special program to restructure them. I mean, to postpone payments and to postpone both interest rate payments and the main debt as well. It also was a special program which was supported by government, and the government really was ready to somehow also support the liquidity of the banks, just for banks to support these micro and small businesses. And I would say that we were quite loyal to our, and specifically loyal to our private individuals as well. Just because some of them also just were not able to pay their debts, and we tried to also to understand the situation, to evaluate risk and restructure these loans as well.
That's incredible. It's brilliant that when everyone else is struggling, VTB actually looked at the kind of risk situation, restructured it to enable people to actually go through a year of difficulty and come out the other side and be successful. That's absolutely brilliant to hear. Now, you've touched on two different types of financial services there, obviously commercial payments and also loans and credit, and I think that's absolutely brilliant, and they both come at the heart of e-signatures, because as you said, people don't want to come into branches or can't come into branches to sign off for these things. So do you think your e-signature service is the start of more things to come for your business banking customers, your retail customers, and do you think you're going to see an uptake in your customers really enjoying digital transformation from their bank, VTB?
Mm-hmm. Actually, we do see that our digital transformation. Digital transformation has two parts. One part is something which is seen by our customers directly, and another part which our customer doesn't see. Yeah, but it's actually prerequisite for them to see something better rather than they see it before. And of course, we do a lot of work inside and digitize our processes, optimize our processes. Actually, we unify our systems internally, and we make our time to market shorter, and we try to hard to increase our reliability, and it's a great work internally, which doesn't seem haven't seen by our customers. However, they see the result, and currently our satisfaction of our mobile apps is quite high comparing with a year ago, and this is probably the most the topest, the highest evaluation, the most important estimation evaluation from assessment from our customers, and the most valuable feedback from them. Yeah. So this is So we currently we're trying to not trying, but we're currently doing this, building omni-channel system for customers to be able to get any product in any channel at the same time. It's really a big deal. It's really a big challenge to do it. However, we're moving forward quite quickly towards this target.
I think, it is going to be the way of the future, where suddenly you don't have to go into the branch to bank, even though if there might not be any pandemic, you can just bank on the go wherever you are in whatever way you want to. It brings back that customer choice. So I think that's absolutely brilliant to hear. And Sergey, thank you so much for your time. I think that is all we have time for. It was really fascinating hearing your perspective over at VTB and what you guys are working on. It sounds like you're putting in a lot of work before your customers get to see this brilliant new service. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Brilliant. And also to our viewers, you can catch the rest of the series and much more over at www.fintechf.com, and of course YouTube and Vimeo, where I will see you there. So once again, thank you very much, and I'll see you then.